So I know you probably have a lot of questions, and I can tell you the staff, will answer as best we can. But understand that we do have a plan going forward for now, and that whether it's our unit or any other unit, we're all following the same national direction, and we want to make sure everyone is safe and still be able to carry out some training. So with that in mind, I'm going to turn this over to the staff who have planned some presentation, and Second Lieutenant Contis is going to take over from here. So thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. So for this training year, I'm going to be the training officer, and I'm going to be talking to you guys a little bit about what the training plan is going to be looking like in the immediate future. Essentially, for those of you that have read some of the task orders that have come out, we're not authorized, or any cadets all across Canada are not authorized for any in-person activities until October 1st. So at the very, very bare minimum, until October 1st, we will be doing entirely virtual training. Now, being realistic and being honest, we don't know when those restrictions are going to be lifted entirely. And even if those restrictions are lifted entirely on a national level, they A, may not be lifted on a regional level, and B, we may not be able to get access to our facility at Denison Armory, depending on what their policy is. So for now, for the immediate future, we are going to be doing all training on the Zoom platform online. And essentially how it's going to work is just like this. You're going to be given breakout meetings or breakout Zoom meetings with your individual levels, and instructors are going to be running the classrooms on Zoom virtually with obviously visual aid PowerPoint presentations accompanying each individual lesson to make sure that you guys are still able to do the majority of the training mandatory during the virtual portion of the year. Now, one question that's obviously going to be asked is, well, sir, how do we do drill classes online? Sorry, someone. Okay, so I'm going to ask that everyone leaves questions till the end, but obviously we're not going to be doing certain classes while we're doing any kind of virtual training. So anything you can think of like drill, survival, physical fitness, etc., those POs are all going to be pushed later into the year so that they can be done appropriately and to the standard of the QSP. For now, we're just going to be focusing on POs that are actually doable within the confines of a virtual environment. So getting back to the actual structure of how the training plan is going to work, I've essentially split level 2s, 3s, and 4s into 3 different teams underneath specific officers. And I'm going to have them very quickly give you guys a wave and introduce themselves. So with level 2s, we're going to be having CV Mazzilli and Officer Cadet Nguyen if they want to jump up and wave and say hi. I don't. Is Officer Cadet Nguyen here? I don't see her. Anyway. So with level 3s is going to be Second Lieutenant Gautreau with a little bit of help from Captain Law. And with level 4s is going to be Officer Cadet Marasic and a new member of our staff, Officer Cadet Minnie. So they are going to be the ones that are responsible for organizing the Zoom meetings that you guys are going to have. And the plan is going to make it very, very simple. Zoom has a feature where you can create what's called a recurring meeting. And that means essentially the same password that you use to get into this meeting can be used multiple times over the course of a calendar week, for example, or a month. So you're each going to have 3 separate classes that are period 1, 2, and 3 as if they were on a regular training night. And you're going to be using those exact same passwords to get access to those classes every single week. So since the person that actually starts the meeting needs to be present in order to start it, your level officers, for lack of a better term, are going to be responsible for creating those meetings on a recurring basis, and then they'll be sending them out to you after I distribute all the email addresses that I've collected over the course of the last week to make sure that everybody has access to training as of next week. And again, based on and the timeline is going to be that next Wednesday we do start our first in-class Zoom periods. So going forward from next week on, we're going to be doing all of our training on a virtual basis on Zoom. So the only other really important aspect that I wanted to talk about was optional training teams. So optional training teams is obviously a little bit of a touchy subject to some extent. Obviously, from what I understand, a lot of the competitions have not been planned, or they're not planning on running them this year. So it's definitely going to be a case-to-case basis based on what kind of activities we're going to be able to run. You know, building availability, interest for the cadets. So it's definitely something that we're going to be sending through our senior cadets down to down to you guys to make sure that, hey, what activities do you guys want to try to continue doing with limited access and based on what kind of facilities that we have. So if you have a question about a specific team, band, drill team, biathlon, it's going to be a case-by-case basis, and at least for the immediate future, it's definitely not going to be something that we're doing right away. That's for the most part from a pure training perspective, all I have for the large group. When it comes to some specifics about instruction, I'm going to be taking the level 5s into a private meeting after this, and we're going to talk more about specific instructions and things. But I think I'm going to now hand it over to Captain V to talk about some admin issues that he wants to discuss.
Hi, sorry, can you enable me to share my screen there?
Yes, absolutely.
Right, good evening, everyone. It's just Captain V. I just want to welcome everyone back. Oh, that's odd. Just want to welcome everyone back. Okay, so just a few things. Just go over the timeline. So right now we're just on virtual training. We don't know the timings for in-person training or when we would be actually be accepting new recruits. So again, it's unknown at this time. So for in-person training, just so you know, cadet activities will be restricted to within the 1 hour near the Denison Armories, and that's to maximize parental drop-off and pickups. Also, there will be only day-only field exercises. There will be no overnight travel authorized at this time. When we do start in-person training, there will be online training for COVID awareness. So this will be required, this training will be required before any in-person activity or entering any facilities such as the armory. Okay. Masks will be provided by the Canadian Armed Forces to all cadets and staff. If you do have your own, you're more than welcome to use them. If you do get tested for COVID for whatever reasons, whether at school or any interactions, please inform one of the staff, as well as the results as well. While you're waiting for your results, please make sure you follow public health guidelines, which is you may be required to self-isolate. In other words, you may not be able to participate in any in-person training if you are being tested and waiting for your results. Mostly for me on the administrative side, we actually really need to have your contact information up to date, specifically your phone number and your email for both the parents and cadets. I know when you joined at 12 years old, you didn't have an email address and things like that. But over the years, you know, we have the annual validation forms, and honestly, all these years, a lot of people just sign it and not actually change their emails or phone numbers. And when the times comes for us to contact you, we have outdated information and we're unable to contact you by phone or email, and that just makes it challenging. So especially now that we're online, we want to be able to contact you. It's the only way for us to contact you, and it should be the only way we have your information, as opposed to gathering it, you know, each and every time there is an issue. Okay. So again, that's nothing new. Just make sure you provide your phone number, email address, and if you did move, let us know. Health card. So currently the Service Ontario have extended the validation period for these health cards. But if you do have the chance and can actually upgrade, renew them online, please do so. Otherwise, just you know, it's always good to renew if you can. If not, you know, it's still valid. But again, always good to check the ministry website and see if you do get notified to update, you need to go in person to update. So just check their website, ontario.ca/page/health cards. Also for updates on any changes, always visit our website, 188 cobra.ca, and that's where you'll see any announcements. Okay, and that's pretty much it for me. Any questions, whether for me or for anything else?
Yeah, Captain, sorry.
Yes. Hi.
A lot of people are asking, do we need to wear uniforms in the Zoom call?
The answer.
So I can.
The training,
Yeah, I can take that. Uniforms, while we're doing virtual training, are not going to be required. The dresses for every week is going to be civvies. So you're not going to be required to wear any dress of uniform as long as you're in appropriate civilian attire. We are going to ask you that you guys try to use the video chatting functions of Zoom, just because it's good to have that interaction with your instructor and with the rest of your cadets for potential group discussions or other aspects of the training. But you're not going to be required to wear a uniform while we're doing virtual training.
Sir,
Yeah.
do we still need to sell lottery tickets or not?
So Captain Law, do you want to take that one, or?
Can you all hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Thumbs up. Awesome. Yes, there will be lottery tickets, and they will be coming out shortly. Books for cadets that will be announced by the Ontario Provincial Committee in the coming weeks.
I have a question. To update the information such as email and addresses and all that, like where do we do that?
So right now, what we could do is you could send an email to our email address 188air at cadets.gc.ca. If you do change for the time being, actually, you know what? I'll make a Google form website where you could just fill in any information, and I'll have that posted on the website. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I'll make that happen. Okay.
I have
All
another
right, I got one more question.
Oh, you can go first.
No, it's okay. You go first.
So, two things. Before COVID-19, I was told by one of these people dealing with the uniforms that I would be given one a week before the big lockdown. And obviously that has never happened. Will I be given one when we're going back into the personal, like in-person training, or is that just going to be postponed indefinitely?
I can take that. So if I spoke to you about uniforms before we kind of closed off for the rest of last year, they are packaged, they're in the trailer. We're still dealing with how to distribute and remeasure for our supply unit and all of that, but we'll update you on more information as it becomes available, and they're definitely ready to go. So once we're back and we have a plan, we'll send those your way.
Okay, and my second question was, back when we were doing drill, we would usually stand around half a foot or even less away from other people. How would that work? Is there enough space for everyone to stand 2 meters apart?
So the directive that we have been given and the directive we're going to be following once we're back to in-person training is that all drill is going to be done at a 2-meter distance from each other. So forgetting the standard that's 201, we're going to make sure that safety is our first priority, and any kind of flight drill will be done with social distancing guidelines enforced, just like any other activity we're going to be doing.
Okay, that's it for me.
Okay. Sorry, I got a question.
Yeah, you're good. Go ahead.
Oh wait, what was it? Sorry, give me let somebody else go. I forgot my question.
No worries, Class Sergeant Damola. Anybody else have any questions?
My bad. Oh, sorry, I remember my question now.
All right, go ahead.
All right, there's a couple of cadets that are waiting for permission to join the calls. So.
So I am I'm not the owner anymore. I think Captain V is the owner. Do you are you able to?
Yeah, I just added 3 people.
Okay.
Okay, that was it.
So one thing that I'm actually gonna to double back to when it comes to training that I didn't mention. Right now, we're on a free license for Zoom. This is not a paid corporate license, so we're on a limited time frame, and that means that being on time to all of your classes is really, really important because you only have so much time in each individual Zoom meeting. So making sure that you're there on time as soon as it begins, so that your instructor has the maximum amount of time to teach the class, is going to be super, super important. So more than ever, I know that in this organization and in this program, we stress making timings, but making sure that we're on time for these classes is going to be really important until we're able to get back to in-person activities.
Sir?
Yep.
The cadets that didn't graduate last year at the end, they're still the same level, right?
So all cadets that joined us at any point last year have been given a waiver for the level that they were in the previous year. And basically what a waiver means is even though you didn't complete all the training, it wasn't something that was within your control, it wasn't your fault, and therefore you've been passed through whatever level you were in last year, regardless of the evaluations. And you are in the higher level. So for example, if you were in level 1 last year, you're now in level 2. If you were in level 2 last year, you're in level 3, et cetera, et cetera. There was nothing that we really could do about the situation to catch you up on training, and it's unfair for cadets to potentially be held back a year from something outside of their control. So that was the decision made way above our head at the formation level, and it's something that you guys don't have to worry about.
Okay, thank you.
How would you pay for them if they do come out?
So I'm having a little bit of trouble hearing you. If you wanted to type your question in the chat, it might be a little bit more effective.
It's just a suggestion, Second Lieutenant Contis. If there are no verbal questions, do you want to just read out the questions in the chat and answer them verbally?
I didn't realize there was questions that I'd missed in there.
And sent to you guys.
What time will the Zoom meetings begin and end at? So the timeline that we had put into place for individual classes is going to be relatively similar to what a normal training night would be. So each class is supposed to be 30 to 40 minutes with the break included. So the first period would run from 7 to 7:40. The second period running from 7:50 to 8:30. Or sorry, no, it was 7 to 7:40, 7:40 to 8:20, and then 8:20 to 9 o'clock. So a similar timeline to what we do on a regular training night, with essentially those 10-minute breaks in between built in based on the length of the Zoom time. So the training would actually be done essentially between 7 and 9 o'clock.
I have a question. How would tagging work?
So all in-person fundraising activities have been canceled until further notice. So there's no fall tagging scheduled. There's no spring tagging scheduled at this point. It's just simply not a safe activity for anybody to be doing, handling money, being in contact with that many people at once. It goes against everything that COVID protocol stands for. So it's definitely something that the league and D&D has not authorized, and it's not something we're going to be doing. However, we are looking at alternative fundraising options to make sure that we can obviously raise money to do training activities just like we normally would during tagging.
Okay, thank you.
I had another question. Oh, sorry.
Oh,
You can
okay.
go ahead.
Okay, thanks. So I have two questions actually. First of all, will cadets be able to contribute to like any planning of like events or like how things work or anything?
So I'm going to be talking to the level 5s a little bit later when it comes to instruction and our virtual training, obviously. They're obviously going to be doing the majority of that once we've gotten through some of the hiccups of once we've gotten through some of the hiccups of learning the platforms. And I'm forgetting the question now, sorry. Planning, that's right. we don't know when in-person activities are going to be back. We don't have a timeline. We don't have dates. So planning in-person activities and having people put effort towards them, we're going to definitely put on the back burner for now, just because, again, we don't know what kind of dates we're going to be allowed to when it comes to in-person activities at all. So keep your ears to the ground. We do have some activities that we have like soft late dates for or planned for later in the year. But once we get further confirmation, then we'll be looking for level 4, level 5, and some level 3 cadets to be helping with some of those activities. So what happens if we miss a Zoom meeting? So for that question, it's just like a regular training night. Each individual.
My second question.
Oh, you had a second question. My apologies.
It's okay. I was just wondering about assessments. Like, will we have any online assessments?
Sorry, did you say online assessments? You were cutting out a little bit. Sorry, if Flickr said Is anybody else hearing her? Is it just on my end? Because I can't make out what she's saying.
No, we can't
No,
hear.
we can't hear her.
I think
hear
she's
her.
just asking
It's a
about the
little
online
laggy.
assessments.
So if the question's about online assessments, again, there are certain POs that are performance objectives, like classes, that have performance checks that kind of require you to be in person. So for example, in level 3 drill, there's a performance check where you're supposed to actually command a flight. You can't do that on Zoom. It's just not, it's not proper. And there is essentially there's a list that D&D has come up with and that formation has come up with that tells us what training is allowed to be done online and what training it must be done in person. So if there is some kind of an accommodation to do a specific evaluation, for example, an aviation test or something along those lines online, then we will explore those opportunities and be performing them. If not, then we're going to have to wait till in-person training resumes to do them. So it's a case-by-case basis based on what specifically the evaluation is.
Okay, quickly before this time ends, we have 4 transfer cadets this year from different squadrons. Those of you who are transfers, make sure you connect with Captain V or email the email address I typed into the chat box, 188air@cadets.gc.ca with your information. You will meet the cadets in the Zoom meetings in your level, and hopefully you'll be able to become friends there. You'll find out our squadron is pretty awesome. So welcome to 188.
So somebody was asking a question about the platform that we're using and referring to Discord. It was my understanding that Discord actually does have meeting sizes based on video chats. If there is a possibility that that is a more efficient platform and someone can provide me the information, I don't have a problem switching at some point if we realize that the platform is more effective or efficient, but it was something that I need to look into because it's I use Discord for my personal use. It's my understanding that there is meeting limits for Discord when it comes to video chatting, but it is something I've looked into. And if there's someone that's more knowledgeable on the topic and they want to send me an email, you guys should all have my email at this point. I'm perfectly willing to use another platform if somebody figures out or sees that that's possible. 99 people are allowed in one voice call. That's the same limit as Zoom.
So Second Lieutenant Contis.
Yeah.
So I'll just let everyone know also that the Department of National Defense is also looking into a platform for us. We're waiting, so hopefully they will get something. For those of you who worked this summer, you know that there was a different platform that they use. They use MS Teams. So we are waiting to hear. It would be good if we could get something supplied to us that would have unlimited time and unlimited number of users. So we're waiting, but as we said, until that time, please forward that information to Second Lieutenant Contis because we can use something until a standard is set.
So I have a question about promotions. If someone was considered, for instance, a corporal last year, will they be considered a flight corporal this year? So promotion guidelines are based on time in rank and level completion. That's how merit-based promotion Cato works. If you've met those promotion requirements, as well as there are some other promotion requirements that are in there, being recommended by a flight officer, et cetera, promotions should continue as per normal. When those are going to happen exactly, unclear. But when it comes to the more senior promotions, something we're going to talk about in the level 5 meeting very briefly when we talk about some of the senior positions that are going to be held throughout the year, warrant officer boards, et cetera. But nobody's been promoted yet. And essentially stay a little bit patient and you'll hear more as the year goes on when it comes to promotions specifically. Okay, so we only have about 6 minutes left. Are there any of the other staff that wanted to jump in and talk about their department specifically or anything in particular to the cadets before we sign off?
Nope, you pretty much answered all my questions, so.
Okay, so if there are no other questions, you should be hearing, I'm going to be touching base with all the officer staff shortly after this, either tomorrow or the day after, to provide them with their list of cadets for their level breakout groups. And then you should be getting those Zoom invites well in advance of next Wednesday. I know the Zoom invite today went out a little bit late. I apologize for that. Things started to get backed up from gathering everybody's information perspective, and I'll take the responsibility on that one. I should have got going a little earlier than I did. But we're going to try to be a little more organized for next week, make sure that everybody has the information well in advance. I'm going to talk to the level 5s a little bit later about figuring out which cadets we had trouble getting a hold of, because not everybody from the entire squadron is here today. There's definitely some names that probably slipped through the cracks. Yeah, and as Captain Law said, make sure that you relay information to some of your friends if they weren't able to get the Zoom invite or they had trouble making the timing. But other than that, thank everybody for coming out. Major Rankin, any last words?
If any of the cadets feel free to reach out for us. You can access us through the email on the website, and we will continue post information. But you can always reach us if you need to get a hold of us or get a hold of some of the senior cadets, and they can get hold of us because we are here to work with you and to move forward.
Okay, so level 5s, everybody who got that invite for our next meeting, I'll see you guys in a few minutes. Take 5 and should be starting at 7:40 or so. Everybody else, have a good rest of your day, and we will see you next week on Wednesday for your first set of classes.